Hi, thanks for submitting a draft of your TED Talk presentation. I'm really looking forward to seeing your speech later this month. Your topic is so interesting. I thought I would create this little video to give you some specific feedback and some suggestions to help you take your presentation to the next level between now and the end of November when you're going to give your speech to your chosen audience, those lucky people. So to start off with, sorry about here in the directions having the date from last semester. I think it just didn't get updated, so I apologize for that. The introduction here, you're really on your way to creating a great speech. I love that you start off with commenting a reflection. I think that's a really nice way to begin your speech, and it's very personable. I think that will grab your audience's attention. Your purpose statement here, it's a little bit confusing to me. I think simply because the way you have it worded, you say giving them an example. For your preparation notes, you're going to want to write this exactly like, or not exactly, but write it how you plan to say it when you're giving your speech to your audience. So instead of saying giving them an example, you would simply write, nonverbal communication is very important, and there are lots of reasons why, or whatever your purpose statement might be. The purpose statement is a lot like a thesis statement. So if you're writing a thesis statement for a paper, purpose statement is basically a thesis statement for your speech. And your preview here, at the end of your introduction, you have 3 main ideas, and they're well stated. I think maybe this last one you might want to consider writing as a full sentence, so you can kind of give some information to your audience about why you're talking about facial expressions and eye contact. Maybe say that these are important nonverbal communication elements, that we get a lot of information from facial expressions and eye contact, or maybe even hint that it's different for different cultures, the expectations or what's considered polite. That's up to you, but as you can see, there's several directions you could go in, and you might want to clarify what direction you are going to go in here as part of your preview. The body of your presentation is really coming along. I can see that you have your main ideas in more detail than how you have in your preview. So you might, in your preview, even just move this whole sentence back up there, and that's a new really easy fix to kind of help provide that. I know having the preview and then the main ideas and then the summary of the main ideas is really repetitive, and I know we want that when we're writing, but maybe not so explicit. But when you're preparing a speech, it's important to have that kind of repetition, because it helps provide a structure to your speech and makes it easier for your audience to really listen, and maybe more importantly, to remember your ideas. So that's why we tell our audience what we're going to say in the intro, say it again in the body, and then remind them what we said in the conclusion. So going back to the body, you have your 3 main ideas, and you're working on the transitions. Now for each of your main ideas, you're going to need to include some supporting material, and you have definitely some great facts here. When I'm looking over it, I'm noticing though that you're not including the sources of your information. So when you make your revisions to these preparation notes, be sure to include information regarding your sources right here, right in this area, or here, or here, or here, and include some specific details like the author, the date, and the title. And when you're presenting, you could say, according to Dr. So-and-so in an article titled blah, 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 blah in 2017, that kind of format. And the reason why you want to share your sources when you're talking and giving your speech is because your audience isn't going to see this handout at all. They're only going to hear your presentation or see your presentation aids, like your PowerPoint or your handout. And So you want to be sure to say your sources, because then they can have a greater sense of the amount of research that you've conducted and know how your ideas connect to other scholars. And this also will help you establish your credibility and can convey to your audience that you're trustworthy and that your ideas are well researched, they're not fake news, they're legitimate, and also help you avoid plagiarism, which is also really important. Now, a lot of the supporting material I'm noticing that you have are, like for this one right here, textbook communication every life, a variety of examples. You're going to want to write out those examples, and this will just help you to prepare your speech so that you have them all in your mind and ready to go on the day that you present. And here you have a good source. That's a nice one too. So I'm seeing that you are including some of these sources in here. You just want to make sure that you have the 5 sources that are required for this research presentation. The facts that you have, examples you have, those are great. You might want to think about personal stories or short stories, even some jokes or humor to kind of really elaborate on your ideas and kind of reach out and engage your audience. And I noticed here on your 3rd main idea, you refer to a YouTube video. Again, you're going to want to be more specific, say the title of the video or where it was published. And when I clicked on the link in your references, I saw it was a TED Talk. So you might mention it's a TED Talk given by, what's the name of the presenter? You have Leila Tacconi. I'm not sure if I'm presenting that right, but you'd want to give that specific information. And that should help. And then you got your conclusion. Again, your summary is great. You kind of restated that purpose statement. And then you have a memorable ending asking the audience questions. It's really creative, and I think that will work out really good. You're going to want to double check your use of APA format. You have the websites listed here, which is a really good start. But you're going to want to use APA format just to make, because that's a skill we're using as academics, and you're going to need this skill not just in this COM class, but in probably a good number of other classes that you take at DACC. And you have 1, 2, 3, but you need 5 for this assignment. So you're on your way. I think this speech is going to be really good. I'm looking forward to seeing it when you present later this month. I'm curious about what 2 presentation aids you're going to use when you give your talk. A lot of presenters use a PowerPoint and a handout. It's kind of the standard that speakers use, and you're welcome to use that as well. But you'll have to take into consideration your speaking environment. So thinking if you how to best kind of relate your message to the audience that you have. You could use a handout and a poster. You could use a video clip if you wanted to actually include little clips from that TED Talk, you can. Now you're going to need to speak, just you and your voice, speak for at least 5 minutes. And but so maybe a video clip that's like 30 to 40 seconds long, or maybe a couple of video clips that are about that long. Should work out nicely. I'm curious to see what you'll end up choosing. So if you have any questions, just send me a message through the inbox. I'm glad to help, and I'm excited about your presentation.